Hey, Trish here again with the 7 movements of the spine, this time on our knees. And we always begin with an affirmation. You can see it right here on the blackboard behind me. I forgive myself. And the Louise Hay Power Thought card with that on one side has this on the other. As I forgive myself, I leave behind all feelings of not being good enough. And I am free to love myself. So with that in mind, let's get started. We'll start on hands and knees in table pose. And this is an interesting angle for you to be able to see my elbows when they lock into position. That's not what we want. So we want to have a little tiny bend at all times. The knees are supposed to be right under the hips. There's usually about the distance of a fist between your knees, a little bit more. And then the toes can stay curled under, you get a little extra stretch, or they can be flat, but you don't want to see them between your knees. The hands are a little wider than the knees because our shoulders are wider than our hips, and the fingers are spread wide apart. And we begin the first movements of the spine, which are cat and cow. And you can get the head involved, you can get the tailbone involved. It feels so good to just move the spine. This is one of the safest positions for this particular movement because of the way that gravity is interacting with the body here. So it's really safe for osteoporosis. And I like to inhale in one direction, exhale in the other, and it really doesn't matter which direction you choose to go with which breath. Good. And then from here, let's move into a little twist. We'll bring our elbows into our hand prints. And this is an easy, basic form of this twist. Just staying on the elbows, slide one hand behind the other elbow, rest on your shoulder, your ear, maybe swing your hips a little bit. Take a deep breath. Pushing into this elbow, come back up, replace that other elbow, and try the other side. And then back to elbows, and you can rock a little bit. We're just slowly warming up the shoulders. And eventually we might come back up to table pose to do a little bigger form of that same twist. And some people like to take the arm out or up as then they slide the hand down. And here, sometimes it feels good to keep the hand on the mat or tuck it in behind you, rock a little bit, take another breath. And then press into the floor and try the other side. So that's the first 4 movements of the spine, the cat, cow, and the twist. Let's do a little bit of lengthening of the spine. So let's start by stretching out your leg, one leg. And we want to make sure that the hips are the same height here. We don't want to have this leg too high. We want to at the level of the hip and the shoulder. The neck is long, and you can reach out with this opposite hand, thumb toward the sky, extended cat or bird dog. And I like to gaze directly down below my nose and take another breath. This is a really great core strengthener and balance pose. And if you want to add a little movement, you can inhale, stretch a little longer. Exhale, bring the elbow and the knee together. And then stretch and bend. Inhale here. Exhale, elbow to knee. One more time. And then back, bringing the hand to the floor. Swing the leg across and behind the other foot and look over the shoulder so you can see your toes. This is a side stretch. And then we'll come back to center. And we'll place the foot right down behind the other foot, drop the heel toward the floor, kick the other foot off the side of the mat, lean into this hand, and take the other arm up and over, maybe reaching up in the air. You can always lift the leg, or you can just simply stretch that side body. This is our final position of the spine here for the side stretches. One more breath. And then you can kind of roll the shoulder down, bring the legs back, knees on the mat. Let's take a quick break of a child's pose. Knees wide, toes together. Just relax the arms, maybe twist out the wrists and take deep breaths. Let your belly kind of hang between your legs as you breathe in and out. And then we'll come back up to table for the rest of that sequence on the other side. And we start with extending the leg long. I like to point my toes. And then you can take the opposite hand up, thumb to the sky. A couple deep breaths here, just feeling that wobble. That's an important part of our practice, the wobble. And then inhale long, exhale, tuck knee to elbow, stretch it out. Exhale together. We're doing about 3 or 4 of these. Just one more. And then stretching out, we'll bring the hand to the floor, cross the leg over and behind. Bring the toes to the floor and look over the shoulder. And you can get a little twist on the shoulders here. Bring that back shoulder around a little bit and a breath, side stretch. And for another kind of side stretch, we'll bring the leg back in line with the other foot. Drop the heel down, kick the other foot behind you. Open the arms wide, feels really good right here, and then stretch over, take a breath, and then slowly roll yourself back down, bring the knees together. And this time, instead of child's pose, you might need a quick twist for the wrists because we're gonna go up into down dog for the end of our kneeling practice. So when your wrists feel ready, curl those toes under, lift the hips, and breathe. And you can play here, pushing one foot down and then the other. You can play with bringing your heels to the floor. That's not necessary at all. You can play with the width of the feet. And another big breath. And then bring the knees down. And that's our practice. Thank you.